Hello all my dear student friends, welcome to this session. So today let us study variable geometry turbocharging. But before that, quickly we will try to see what is turbocharging. So this is an engine, IC engine. The exhaust gases which leave the IC engine are having some energy. About 30% of energy is possessed by the exhaust gases. So this energy can be utilized to operate a turbine, gas turbine, so that this gas turbine will provide the mechanical power, and this mechanical power can be used by a compressor or a supercharger. The compressor will be called a supercharger. So this compressor or the supercharger will take the air from the atmosphere. It will compress it, and this compressed air or compressed charge will be supplied to the engine, so that the engine can develop more power. So this process of developing more power by the engine by supplying the compressed air to the engine with the help of a turbine which is operated by the exhaust gases by the engine itself, and utilizing the energy of the exhaust gases which otherwise would have been wasted, is nothing but turbocharging. So this is the process of turbocharging. So now let us go ahead and try to study the variable geometry turbocharger. So what is the need of the variable geometry turbocharger? If we are using the fixed geometry turbocharger and we find that we know that the engine is not running at constant speed, there is a lot of variation in the speed of the engine, but the geometry of the turbine is fixed. Now the geometry means the area of the inlet to the turbine of the turbocharger. So geometry is fixed, but the speed of the engine is varying. So due to this, there is a mismatch between the exhaust gas flow of the IC engine and the radial flow of the turbocharger. So what is this mismatch? If the geometry, that is the flow area of the turbine, is designed to match the maximum speed and load of the engine, by increasing the area, by having large area, what will happen? If we design the turbine for the higher speed, full speed of the engine, then the response of the turbocharger will be poor at low speeds, and it also will not be so good for the medium speeds. So this is the problem in one case. In the other case, if the geometry of the turbine is matched for a fast response by keeping the area small, area of the entry of the turbine small, then what will happen? The choke limits will be reached and the turbocharger might overspeed. Choke limits might be reached means choking may take place due to more speed or more air entering inside the engine cylinder. the turbocharger, the speed of the turbocharger may increase beyond the required limit, and due to this the intake air pressure may exceed the maximum limit. Of course, we are increasing the pressure of the air which is entering inside the engine cylinder, but there is some limit for the increase in this pressure, and this limit of increase in the pressure may be crossed, and this happens when the speed of the engine is high. When the speed of the engine is high, when the engine operates at higher speed, then this problem may occur. So the problem may occur when the engine is at higher speed, and problem may also occur when the engine is running at lower speed if the design is not done for that particular speed. So we can't design for a particular speed because the speed is changing. Then what is the solution? An ideal turbocharger should be able to provide the required intake air pressure boost regardless of the operating point of the engine, speed or torque. So whatever may be the speed or the torque of the engine at that instant, at that moment, the turbocharger should provide the required increase in pressure. The required intake pressure boost should be provided by the turbocharger. This is expected from an ideal turbocharger. So we have to see that whether this expectation can be fulfilled or not, whether we can have some turbocharger which will fulfill this expectation of providing the required increase in pressure, the required intake air pressure boost regardless of the operating speed or the torque at that moment. That we have to see. Now what are the problems? This is not possible due to the fact that the speed of the turbocharger shaft depends on the mass flow of the exhaust gases. The speed of the turbocharger will depend on the speed of the engine, because the mass flow rate of the exhaust gases depends upon the speed of the engine. If the engine is running at a higher speed, then the exhaust gases will flow at a higher speed. So the engine speed will decide what will be the speed of the turbocharger, and this may not be required at the inlet of the engine. The pressure which is required at the inlet of the engine may be different, or when the pressure required at the inlet of the engine will be high, the pressure provided may be less due to the turbocharger, by the turbocharger, because the turbocharger is operated by the exhaust gases. So this mismatch occurs. So how to find the solution? So for a fixed geometry turbocharger at low engine speed, the exhaust gas mass flow is low, and therefore the speed of the turbocharger shaft is low, which means low air boost. So at lower engine speed, air boost required is more, but the turbocharger is providing lower boost, lower increase in the pressure. And on the other hand, at higher engine speed, the exhaust gas mass flow rate is high, therefore the speed of the turbocharger shaft is also high, and which will increase the intake air boost. So when the speed of the engine is high, then the boost in the pressure required is low, but since the speed of the engine is high, the exhaust gas speed will also be high, the turbocharger speed will also be high, and the boost will be high, but required is less. So this is something contradictory. So in order to avoid this, we have to use the variable geometry turbocharger, and these are the objectives of the variable geometry turbocharger. So we have to increase the air boost pressure at low speed. So we designed the turbocharger in such a way that at low speed the intake air pressure will be boosted, will be increased. At the same time, the response of the turbocharger will also be improved during transient engine operation phases. That means the engine should respond quickly to acceleration. The pickup of the engine should be good. Quickly it should accelerate. So that is what is desired from the engine, and this we can try to fulfill with the help of the variable geometry turbocharger. We want increase in the availability of maximum engine torque. The engine can give the its maximum torque, maximum available torque, but it gives that maximum torque at a particular speed only. It is not giving that maximum torque at all the speeds. So the torque which is available at a particular speed, we have to increase that torque, and that is possible by supercharging, by turbocharging, and but it is possible by variable geometry turbocharger. At the same time, with the help of this variable geometry turbocharger VGT, we have to prevent overboosting at high speed. When the speed of the engine is high, then the boosting automatically increases. So this we have to stop, this we have to prevent, and we have to improve the emissions, the exhaust gas emissions. The pollutants should be less harmful, less pollutants should be emitted, and the fuel economy should also be improved. The efficiency of the engine should also be improved. That we have to obtain. These are our objectives from, this is all what we desire from a variable geometry turbocharger, and the outcome is how we can obtain this. In order to obtain this, we have to use the movable components to provide a variable cross sectional area A to get an overall variable AR ratio. So we have to use a variable geometry turbocharger for the above objectives. That means we have to use a turbocharger whose cross sectional area of entry of the exhaust gases in the turbine should be variable. We should be able to change the cross sectional area of the entry of the exhaust gases to the turbine of the turbocharger, and thus we have to try to obtain a variable AR ratio. Now what is the AR ratio? What is the importance of the AR ratio? The flow capacity of the turbine depends on the AR ratio of the housing, that is the casing of the turbine, and it has a significant impact on the overall performance of the turbocharger. So the shape of the housing, the geometry of the housing, especially the inlet area of the casing of the turbine, will have impact, significant impact on the overall performance of the turbocharger That means ultimately the AR ratio will have the impact on the overall performance of the turbocharger. So it is important to study the AR ratio. It is important to study the geometry of the turbocharger, that is the housing or the casing of the turbocharger. So if you consider these two figures, what is the AR ratio? A stands for the turbine inlet cross sectional area. The cross sectional area of the exhaust gases which are entering inside the turbine, that area is nothing but A. It is written in the numerator, and R is nothing but the radius of the turbo center line, radius of the turbine. That means the distance from the turbo center line to the centroid of the area A. So we can see that this is the centroid of this area. This is the cross sectional area of the entry of the exhaust gases inside the turbine. This is nothing but the turbine. This is also the turbine. Okay. So this is the area at the entry. This is the entry cross section, and this is the area. This is the centroid. Okay. And this is nothing but the axis of rotation or the turbo center line. So this perpendicular distance is nothing but the radius R, radius of the turbine. Here also you can see that this is the area of the entry of the exhaust gases inside the turbine, like this. The exhaust gases are entering like this. So this is the area at the entry, and this point is nothing but the centroid of this area. So the distance between the center of the turbine or the axis of the turbine, the perpendicular distance between this axis, so this point indicates the axis, and this distance is nothing but the radius of the turbine, capital R. So this A divided by R is called as the AR ratio. So actually we can't change this radius of the turbine, but what we are trying to change is this area A. So increasing the area A means increasing the AR ratio, and decreasing the area A means decreasing the AR ratio. R we are not changing, we are changing A only. So that way to see. So a small AR ratio will increase the speed. If we decrease the AR ratio, that means if we decrease the area, then the speed will be increased. Speed of the exhaust gases which are entering the turbine wheel will be increased. A small AR ratio will increase the speed of the exhaust gas as it enters the turbine wheel, and thus the compressor will spin faster and provide an increase of intake air boost. So when the area is reduced, when AR ratio is reduced, then the boost will be increased. Boost will be provided to the air which is entering the engine cylinder, because the compressor will spin faster. Now if the AR ratio is increased, a larger AR ratio will improve the flow capacity of the turbocharger. The velocity may not increase by increasing the AR ratio, but the flow capacity will be increased at high engine speeds, and this will reduce the back pressure in the exhaust manifold. So due to turbocharging, actually back pressure is created, but when the AR ratio is increased, when the area is increased, then the back pressure will be reduced. So due to that, there will be improvement in the engine capacity to breathe at higher speed and push the peak power towards higher values. So the highest power can be obtained, but there is a drawback. The drawback is that at low and medium engine speeds, when the speed is reduced or when the speed is medium, then the problem occurs at larger AR ratio, and the problem is that the exhaust gas velocity will be lower because of bigger flow area, and the response will be decreased. Response of the engine will be decreased because the exhaust gas velocity will be decreased because of the increase in the area, and the increase of the intake air boost will be slower. There will be a turbo lag, so the response will be slow. That is the problem, and this problem occurs when the speed is low, when the AR ratio is high and speed is low. So the variation of the cross-sectional area, cross-sectional flow area of the turbine is achieved by, this is look at this figure. So this is the figure of variable geometry turbocharger. Actually it is a photograph, not a figure, right? So this is the turbine, these are the turbine blades, and these are the vanes. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the variation of the cross-sectional flow area of the turbine is achieved by the rotating vanes. 3 indicate the rotating vanes. So these are the rotating vanes. Rotating in the sense these vanes are present in between the turbine casing and the turbine blades. So these are the turbine blades, yellow colored, these red colored, maroon colored are the rotating vanes, and this is the casing. So this vane, this angle of this vane can be changed, and when these vanes are rotated, turned, when these vanes are turned slightly, then the area which is available for the exhaust gases to move towards the turbine blades will be changed. That will be changed. So this variation in the cross section, how to obtain the variation in the cross section, that is important. So it can be obtained by just turning these vanes, and these vanes in turn can be turned by the pneumatic actuator. So these vanes are mechanically linked with the adjustable ring 5. This is the adjustable ring. So the vanes are mechanically linked with this adjustable ring, and this adjustable ring is controlled by the pneumatic actuator. This is the pneumatic actuator 9, right? And this pneumatic actuator is connected to the ring through a mechanical lever system. So this is the mechanical lever system. Okay, just a minute please. So here this is nothing but the pneumatic actuator, and through this mechanical lever system, this pneumatic actuator is controlling this adjustable ring, and when this adjustable ring is turned, the vanes are turned, and when the vanes are turned, the area of the flow area which is available for the flow of the exhaust gases towards the turbine blades can be changed. So depending on the operating point of the engine control module ECM means engine control module, is adjusting the air pressure in the pneumatic actuator. We have seen the pneumatic actuator. This is the pneumatic actuator 9. Okay, so the pressure in the pneumatic actuator is adjusted, and this pneumatic actuator is closing or opening the pivoting vanes. So these vanes are turned, and thus they are closed or opened, right? So closing means the area is reduced, opening means area is increased. So thus we can change the area, and we can change the geometry of the variable geometry turbocharger. Here you can see that what is the position of the vanes. You can see the position of the vanes at high engine speed. So at high engine speed, look at this position of the vanes. Here you see that this vanes are open at high engine speed. So at high engine speed, the vanes are in a wide position. That means they are more open. So the area is increased. The cross-sectional area for the exhaust gas flow is large now. The cross-sectional area is increased because the vanes are open at higher speeds. So the AR ratio is at its maximum value. The AR ratio is increased, the AR ratio is maximum, and the velocity of the exhaust gas through the turbine is at minimum. Velocity is minimum at higher speeds. So that we are controlling in this way. The compressor speed will be slower, but enough to provide the required intake boost in this case. At higher speed, the vanes will be open, area will be increased, and the speed of the exhaust gases will be reduced. So the compressor speed will also be reduced, but it will be enough to provide the required intake boost. At higher speed, the boost required is less. Also the flow capacity of the turbine is increased. Since the area is increased, the flow rate will be increased, the flow capacity will be increased. Flow capacity of the turbine is increased, which will decrease the exhaust gas back pressure. So the exhaust gas back pressure will be reduced, and the engine will be allowed to breathe normally. The engine will breathe normally. So due to normal breathing of the engine, normal intake of the air inside the engine at higher speed, the engine will run properly at higher speed. There will be no choking, or there will be no over boosting of the engine. So at lower speeds, what will happen? At lower speed, you can see that these vanes are in such a position that the area is minimum. They are maximum closed, right? So they are closing the passage. The area is being reduced. Area for the flow of the exhaust gases towards this turbine is reduced at lower engine speeds. So the vanes are in a narrow position. The cross-sectional area for the exhaust gas flow is small now. So due to that, the AR ratio is minimum, and the velocity of the exhaust gas through the turbine will be maximum. The velocity will be increased now. Velocity will be maximum at lowest speeds. So this will translate into higher compressor speed. So this will result in increase of the compressor speed and high intake air boost will be there. That means the pressure of the air which is entering the engine will be increased in this case, and that is what is required for the engine, and this requirement is fulfilled by the variable geometry turbocharger. This we have seen now. So in this way, this variable geometry turbocharger provides the variable flow of the air to the engine at variable speeds, and therefore the performance of the engine is maintained at all the speeds. Performance of the engine is maintained at all the speeds. So in this way the variable geometry turbocharger works. Thank you, my dear friends.